identify, track, and punish every terrorist and their backers. दुनिया ने और देश के दुश्मनों ने भी देख लिया, जब सिंदूर बारूद बन जाता है तो नतीजा क्या होता है। जो अपने हथियारों पर घमंड करते थे, आज वो मलबे के ढेर में दबे हुए हैं।
ಈಗೇನು ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಚುಟ್ಪುಟ್ಟು ಯುದ್ಧಗಳು ನಡೆದಿವೆ. ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ ಕೆಲಸ ಅಂತೂ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇವತ್ತು ಚೈನಾ ಇಂದ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು
सिंदूर खेला की इस धरती पर आया हूं तो आतंकवाद को लेकर भारत के नए संकल्प की चर्चा स्वाभाविक है। आतंकवादियों ने हमारी बहनों का सिंदूर मिटाने का दुस्साहस किया। हमारी सेना ने उनको सिंदूर की शक्ति का एहसास करा दिया। यहां मुर्शिदाबाद में जो कुछ हुआ, मालदा में जो कुछ हुआ, वो यहां की सरकार की निर्ममता का उदाहरण है।
You are accusing the government, and do you want to blame the opposition at this time, at this hour, to politicize the things, just as a BJP leader, Dhumla party, BJP Dhumla party.
Hello and welcome once again to the Round Table. It's been a week when politics over Operation Sindoor appears to have taken over squarely from the military and even the diplomatic objectives. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been crisscrossing the country yet again, holding rallies and road shows hailing the operation. The BJP is even planning a Ghar Ghar Sindoor campaign next month. The Congress leadership has been raising questions, demanding a special session of parliament, and there have been skirmishes on social media between the government and several opposition parties. All this while an all-party delegation goes across the world to make India's case against Pakistan-based terror. So is this now about Operation Sindoor, or as some are suggesting, Operation Vote Bank politics? That's the big question that we hope to answer on the Round Table. Joining us on the Round Table, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, leading psephologist and political scientist. He's Vice President, Niti Education Trust and National Coordinator, Lok Niti Network. Rajat Sethi, political commentator, someone who's been associated with BJP governments in the past. Clyde Crasto, National Spokesperson, NCP, Sharad Pawar faction. Dr. Ajay Alok, one of the leading spokespersons of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And Salman Soz, National Spokesperson of the Congress. We'll be raising one big question after the other and getting all our roundtable guests to respond to it. Let's start, therefore, with the big question. Operation Sindoor, is it about vote bank politics? The first question, is the Modi government playing image-building politics over Operation Sindoor now? Why don't you take that straight away, Ajay Alok? Is this now about image-building politics, as the opposition is alleging?
Well, image building is taken by those individuals and those parties whose image has crashed, who does not hold any image. There is no such case with Prime Minister Narendra Modi or with the Bharatiya Janata Party. Our image was always there in front of the public that we are right party with a right mindset and with a nationalistic mindset. So it's not a question of image building. Operation Sindoor is
You're saying
one
it's not a
activity
question.
which
You're
is
saying it's not a
attached
question
with
of
every
image.
Indian.
You're saying it's not a question, sir, of image building. Can I just play what Prime Minister Modi said? Listen into what he said, and then I want you to respond to it, Dr. Alok. Listen into Prime Minister Modi on one of his rallies in the last week.
आजादी के बाद पिछले कई दशकों से यही चला आ रहा था। पाकिस्तान आतंक फैलाता था, निर्दोष लोगों की हत्याएं करता था, भारत में डर का माहौल बनाता था। मोदी का दिमाग ठंडा है, ठंडा रहता है, लेकिन मोदी का लहू गर्म होता है। और अब तो मोदी की नसों में लहू नहीं, गरम सिंदूर बह रहा है।
Lahu nahi, garam sindoor behta hai. How do you respond, Dr. Ajay Alok? Is this now about Prime Minister Modi and his muscular image? Or is this about the military objectives that the army and our armed forces achieved? Or the diplomatic objectives that we are trying to achieve with all party delegations?
First of all, Rajdeep, Prime Minister saying all these lines is just to infuse the confidence and the strength among all Indians. It's a one line which fills every Indian with pride. It's nothing about image building. And Prime Minister always had this image of a very strict administrator, of a very strict about protecting his own national interest. Number two, all the war in this country has been won by the army. There's no doubt about it. All the diplomatic efforts, whatever the India has done so far, not only in this case, but also during earlier cases, is at the behest of the political leadership. The army in this country works under the behest of political leadership, may it be 1948, 65, 71, 62, Kargil war, whatever we are saying. And let's not demean our armed forces. Our armed forces are at their will to work whenever they feel like. Today also in Bihar, Prime Minister said the similar thing, that if any attacks take place in future, the army will respond, and it will respond to their time, place of their choice, and weapons of their choice. The free hand has been given. So when the political leadership is strong, everything comes from the political leadership, whether the failure or success. And if the success is being enjoyed by us, why it is giving stomach ache to others? They should enjoy the success of the country.
So please tell me.
And naturally, the success of the country is
always
attributed to
the opposition says, why should there be posters? Why should there be posters of the Prime Minister then in armed uniform across the country? Is that, why should you have a Ghar Ghar Sindoor campaign? Is that not exploiting in a way people's emotion, people's sentiments, or exploiting the armed forces and their valor for political ends?
First of all, let me clarify very clearly on your program. There is no such activity as Ghar Ghar Sindoor. What has been falsely being propagated. There is no such activity. We are not going to do that. Sindoor is something which is very sacred.
Okay.
It's always used by the married woman, and only married woman can give a sindoor to another married woman. It's not like Dika we start distributing sindoor. This is a negative, and this is absolutely demeaning campaign started by our opposition. There's nothing like that. And second thing, the current leadership is being held responsible for everything. And if there is a picture of Prime Minister wearing Indian soldiers' uniform, there is nothing wrong in it. We all can don the uniform if we want to. Nobody stops us. And we do it. I mean, for each and everything out of Modi hatred, you start assuming a lot of things. You don't have any logic behind it. When the delegation is traveling abroad, you are comparing the delegation to the terrorist. I mean, this is your mindset. This is the opposition mindset. That the delegation of the MPs is being compared to terrorists. Today they came out with another news. Let me complete one more line. 10 seconds I'll take. Today they started financial terrorism. Do you know that? Today they started financial terrorism. Congress on his official handle said that 37% of the currency is fake in Modi rule. Modi has failed. And this is being said by RBI. When it was clarified, RBI said that only it was compared from the last year. when 4.18 crores fake currency notes were there of the value, and today the value has gone to 580 crores. But they said 37% total currency. So this is what? This is financial terrorism. Congress is in the habit of aiding and abetting terrorism. That's what they are doing now.
Okay, let me get in Salman Soz. Salman Soz, according to the BJP, hatred for Narendra Modi is guiding the responses of the Congress party. That you are simply unwilling to give the Prime Minister for, according to the BJP, taking the big risk of Operation Sindoor and targeting terror infrastructure in Pakistan.
Rajdeep, I don't know about blind hatred. We certainly do not hate the Prime Minister. But I do think that there is blind adulation of the Prime Minister on part of the BJP, and the BJP spokesperson made that very, very clear just now. Rajdeep, the real heroes of Operation Sindoor are our armed forces. And, they fight for India. They don't fight for any political party. And that is, to my mind, the core concern that all of us should have. All right-thinking Indians should be concerned about that. This was a soldier's triumph. But what the BJP is doing is, it is trying to rebrand it as a party poster. And I think that is what we will not allow. There are very, very serious questions that I hope we will be able to get into. Because this is not just about politics, from my perspective. From our party's perspective.
1 minute. Salman Soz was 1971 also not about our soldiers. Was it not about Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw, the army leadership? But the credit went to Indira Gandhi. So according to the BJP, if the Congress wants to give Indira Gandhi credit for 71, you must also give us credit for 2025 Operation Sindoor. They are comparing the two.
But the credit for any military operation, first and foremost, goes to those who put their lives at risk for us and our democracy. And that is what we should always be concerned about. The Prime Minister can go and make speeches and, and he has made some fiery speeches as I see them. Mm-hmm. But one of the ways to articulate our position is by me referencing one of my best friends and my political comrade Shashi Tharoor in a recent book. Maybe your audience may not know this, but I just want to read it. It's a long quote. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just a couple of sentences. It says, and this is Shashi, my good friend, saying about the Prime Minister. After the 2016 surgical strikes, etc., he says, the shameless exploitation of the 2016 surgical strikes along the line of control with Pakistan and of a military raid in hot pursuit of rebels in Myanmar as a party election tool. This is what Shashi is saying in his book. He basically says that this marked a particularly disgraceful dilution of the principle that national security issues require both discretion and non-partisanship. So my point, Rajdeep, to you and to your audience and to my fellow panelists would be that Operation Sindoor was a soldier's triumph in the face of great adversity and hostility. But we will not allow the BJP to repaint this as a party poster. That will not be allowed. We will not allow them. We will ask very, very basic questions that we as the opposition, not only do we have a right, we have a duty, and the people of India deserve answers. And I would like to get into those whenever you permit.
We will come to those questions in a moment. Let's give everyone equal chance at the very outset. Rajat Sethi, do you believe that there is event management now taking place? Prime Minister Modi, according to his critics, is a very good event manager. It's one thing to have the military operation. It's the other thing now to convert the military operation into some kind of event management where you go across the country on a road show, even while, according to the government itself, Operation Sindoor is still on.
So Rajdeep ji, what Salman Soz just said, that he and his party, the Congress party, will not allow Prime Minister Modi. I mean, you have experience for these past several years now that when it comes to nationalism, it is BJP which wears it boldly up the sleeves. They are confident about championing the cause of brute nationalism, quite to the discomfort of the Congress party. So no matter how you want to change the imagery, but BJP would want a very strong, muscular, nationalistic image, and they are not shy about it. on the contrast is the Congress party, which seems a little reluctant in terms of projecting itself closely with the nationalistic causes, because clearly on the opposition side, there was a big gap. And Congress party could have emerged and tried to fill that gap by being an overly nationalistic party. But they left that and they started poking holes into the Operation Sindoor while the Operation Sindoor was going on. And therefore, I go back to your question, Rajdeep ji. See, for BJP, when it champions the cause of nationalism, and a muscular one, the lines tend to blur. And this is why a lot of analysts might want to equate that there is a politicization of an operation. But let me tell you, this is what BJP is. This will be blurred because this is what the core position of BJP's core thinking remains and will remain even under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi through and through. Therefore, he would want to champion the cause. He would want to build a consensus around the country, and he would want to change the new and bring in a new normal. See, the doctrinal shift do not happen in closed rooms. Those have to be discussed, debated in among wider audience. That's how democracy operates. Prime Minister Modi will take his message that I'm moving this word called proxy war among the minds of every single Indian. He will go to every single Indian and say, from here onwards, war is a proxy war or a war. I mean, we don't differentiate between army and the terrorists. They are one and the same. And he needs to repeat this ad nauseam.
Okay, let's get quick remarks again from Clyde Crasto. You have heard what Rajat Sethi says. He says Prime Minister Narendra Modi is simply espousing his and the BJP's version of nationalism, of his and the BJP's version of what our security doctrine will now be. What's wrong with that?
Well, this is their kind of nationalism. Nationalism doesn't mean that, you publicize, something that has been done by the armed forces. The blood in my veins starts boiling when I see, that the army's valor, bravery is, demeaned by, politicizing the whole thing. See, the BJP spokesperson said that the army works on the behest of the government. Let me tell you, the army's duty is to protect our borders. They suss out the situation. They understand what the dangers are there for us on the borders. They understand what the dangers are there in the country. Then they appraise and update the government, and then together, that's how all these things is worked out and how the protection of this country comes. They don't work on the behest of the government. The government does not suss out the dangers. The army, the navy, the air force, armed forces do it. So don't take it away from them. And Operation Sindoor and the success of the Operation Sindoor is because of the armed forces. They are the ones who went into the Pakistani region. They are the ones who took care of all the terrorists.
So you're saying,
put them
are you saying the Prime Minister? Are you saying the Prime Minister is not entitled to take a message to the public? No, Clyde Crasto, are you very quickly telling me that the Prime Minister is not allowed to take this message to the public?
I'll answer that.
That this is the new doctrine, the so-called Modi doctrine
of striking terror. Take the message of what the armed forces have done. No, Rajdeep, you are not understanding this. You take the message to the people, but take the message of what the armed forces have done. Take the message of the terrorist state like Pakistan. Why doesn't he go and tell President Trump, who equates India and Pakistan in the same breath, how shamefully Trump is saying that I look at India and Pakistan the same? You cannot take my country as same as Pakistan. Pakistan is a terrorist state. My country is the greatest country in the world. So don't take it that way. Fight with Trump. Tell him not to say this. Do they have the guts to tell Trump that you cannot equate India and Pakistan together? You cannot do it. I call Pakistan a terrorist state. You cannot equate Pakistan and India together. My country is great. Don't do that. Don't politicize the work and the hard work, the valor of my armed forces.
Okay, Sandeep Shastri, do you believe that this is politicization? Is Narendra Modi doing what he is with an eye on the elections? Is it once again a sort of redux of Balakot? Although this time there is no general election on the anvil, but state elections 4 or 5 months down the line?
Rajdeep, converting key incidents in the life of a nation into a political advantage is nothing new. 1971, the Lok Sabha victory was a byproduct of the Bangladesh Liberation War. 1999, Kargil was very, very effectively used in the election. So this time around, what is being seen is Operation Sindoor, which had the nation and its people coming together, you have now the effort to try and take the political advantage of this event and to try and take ownership for this event. So I think the larger point I'm making is parties in power from the past to the present have done this. But I'm raising another question, Rajdeep, which I think our political party leaders need to address. Is the language of the current debate, is the language of the current discussion that is going on across the country something that does justice to what the people of the country and the army actually did for us? I'm raising the question of, are we seeing a accusations overload? Are we seeing a taking the credit overload by all political parties? And are we seeing a deficit in recognizing those who played a key role in defending the country in the recent incidents?
That's
the question.
That's an interesting point.
Political benefit.
That's an interesting point you raised. Remember, there were several people. I take your point. There are several people who died in border villages. Do we care enough about them? Not just in Pahalgam, but remember in places like Poonch and Rajouri. What about them? But it brings me to my second question. Congress leadership out to embarrass the Modi government at any cost. You start now, Salman Soz, because you said there are questions we want to raise, because we believe that in a democracy, any government must be accountable. Now, do you believe that this is the right time already to raise those questions, whether it is security lapse in Pahalgam, or your leader wants to know how many jets were shot down, or he wants to know how was Trump allowed to announce the ceasefire? Do you believe these questions are in the national interest? Or is it only to embarrass the Prime Minister and the Modi government?
Rajdeep, I'm glad you asked that question. When is a good time to ask these questions? If these questions cannot be asked now, at the moment when we are facing this crisis, maybe then we should ask about Pulwama. Because in 2019, we had Pulwama. Has there been any accountability for Pulwama? Do you know? I mean, you're a journalist, you're a reputed journalist. Do you know what happened? Do you know who was responsible? Do you know, for example, there was a police officer, Devinder Singh, who was caught with terrorists. What happened to him? So when is the right time? If not now. And by the way, there are certain questions.
Your own leader and comrade Shashi Tharoor says this is not the right time. Your own leader and Shashi Tharoor says this is not the right time to ask questions.
Rajdeep, you know that Shashi is a very close friend of mine. Shashi is on foreign lands. He is representing our country, and that is excellent, and he should do that. But as far as our own people are concerned here, we must ask some very basic questions, which are necessary. Why? Because we don't want a repeat of what happened in Pahalgam. There were 26 families that were who lost innocent souls. 26. Women lost their husbands, their loved ones. How did that happen? Why was there not even minimal security around that? Should not that come to mind? Should that not be posed? Forget what happened there.
Ajay Alok, respond. Let's give everyone equal time.
Rajdeep, I'll just ask one more question. Ajay can respond at leisure. Then Operation Sindoor happens. And of course, I'm not going to go into the foreign minister's statement about at the start of the operation, we called up Pakistanis and we told them we're going to do this and they did something else to us. I'm not getting into that. But I'm asking you, Rajdeep, and I'm asking the country. If there is a heinous terrorist attack on India, should our allies not be standing with us? Is it too much to ask? What has happened to the world that it does not stand with us when they should be, like they used to? That is a very, very important question. Should we not ask what happened to America, our ally, strategic partner, that basically rehyphenated India and Pakistan? There is no Security Council resolution holding Pakistan accountable for hosting terrorists who might attack, who have attacked Pahalgam? These are serious questions because they go to our national security.
Okay, you've now, Salman Soz, I'm going to put a clock now and a limited time to each of our guests, but you, Ajay Alok, respond to that. Salman Soz says, what is the harm in asking questions? Democracy is about accountability. When you're in power, you want to take the credit for what our military has achieved, then you've also got to answer the questions as to what's gone wrong.
You're absolutely right. Democracy, with democracy comes accountability. There's no doubt about it, and with power especially. Well, let me give you a situation. I'll ask you guys a question, especially to Salman. Salman, if you let go a murderer off by citing humanitarian grounds, and tomorrow that murderer again murders 15 people, who's responsible? You or that murderer? Of course, it's you, because you let him go. I hold Congress party responsible, Manmohan Singh responsible, Sonia Gandhi responsible. Because in 2010, when they let go 25 terrorists back to Pakistan in the name of creating goodwill gestures, right? That person was involved in Uri attack. That person was involved in 2013 bomb blast, who was killed in Operation Sindoor. So, Congress party is responsible for all these terrorist attacks because you keep.
No, but Ajay Alok, that's a dangerous argument because people will go back to 1999, 2000 when you had a deal in Kandahar that resulted in Masood Azhar being given back. It's dangerous politics.
It was Masood Azhar was not a humanitarian gesture. Masood Azhar was exchanged because of our Indian people with life were at risk. The whole plane was kidnapped, and it was done with the cabinet measure. The whole cabinet was there.
Answer my straight question.
Sonia Gandhi was there when the consent was given.
Entitled to ask questions? Sir, is the Congress entitled to ask questions on security lapses in Pahalgam as to on...
Hello, Razip, let me come. I've heard your question. Everybody is entitled for a question. But Congress party has been asking questions after 22nd only. On one side they say that we are with the government, we are withstanding with the government on this terrorist attack. We are with the government, and every second day from 22nd April, they have been asking questions. They have been putting that all, you remember that Nimbu and everything on the Rafale, where is Rafale, when we'll take action, when we took action, Rahul Gandhi, Revanth Reddy, everybody, how many Rafale was shot, who passed on the information. They were so disastrous. They called our external affairs minister as a mukhbir, as an agent of Pakistan. I mean, all kind of verbal shit was used, and you are saying Congress is asking questions.
No, it's interesting what you're saying.
Who doesn't want to ask?
Ajay Alok, it's interesting what you're saying because at the very outset, you're right. Sir, at the very outset, the Congress said whatever the Modi government decides to do, we'll support them. Eventually started asking questions. I want to play one of those questions. Revanth Reddy, the Telangana Chief Minister, what he said. And I want Salman to respond. Listen to what Revanth Reddy said.
మోడీ గారు తెచ్చిన రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలు మన పాకిస్తాన్ కూల్చింది. ఎన్ని కూల్చిందో రాఫెల్ గురించి చెప్పమంటే ఈరోజు చర్చ లేదు. ఈరోజు మన దేశం కాదని ఇతర దేశాల నుంచి రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలను కొనుగోలు చేసిన మోడీ గారు మీరు జవాబు చెప్పండి. మన పాకిస్తాన్తో జరిగిన యుద్ధంలో ఎన్ని రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలు పాకిస్తాన్ నేలగూల్చిందో మీరు లెక్క చెప్పండి. గొప్పల కోసం వేల కోట్ల రూపాయల కాంట్రాక్టులు మీకు కావాల్సిన వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చి ఇవాళ రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలు కొన్నారు. అవెందుకు నేలగూలినాయో ఇవాళ ప్రజలకు సమాధానం చెప్పాలి.
I want a quick answer to this, Salman Soz. Is this the kind of question at this moment to ask? How many Rafales have we lost? This will be used, according to critics, by Pakistan tomorrow.
Let's be complete.
No. So Rajdeep,
I'll come back to you.
Just on the Chief Minister of Telangana and his comments about Rafale. The issue, I think, was made murky by the foreign minister himself, who said that at the start of the operation, we contacted the Pakistanis, telling them that we are not going to strike military bases, etc. And by the way, did that risk the lives of our security forces? That's a legitimate question as far as I'm concerned. But I want to just tell Ajay, I want to remind him, and I want to remind the viewers that they're telling us that we should not be asking questions now, and just after the Operation Sindoor was launched, we started asking questions. When the Mumbai terrorist attack was going on, the current Prime Minister, who was the Chief Minister at that time, was shamelessly grandstanding in Mumbai. Have you forgotten? We have not forgotten. The country has not forgotten the shamelessness displayed by the BJP leaders at that time.
Let Ajay Alok get a response to that, and then I'll go to the rest. Ajay Alok, you see, where you stand depends on where you sit. Today you're blaming Rahul Gandhi for asking questions. Now the Congress is saying, what about Prime Minister Modi when he was Chief Minister? While 2611 was on, he was targeting Manmohan Singh's government.
See, I'm not blaming anyone for their action. The intent is to be blamed. When Prime Minister, who was the Chief Minister, was there in Mumbai when Mumbai attack happened, he was standing with the people. He was also standing with the people when Kedarnath happened in 2013. Then also he was Chief Minister. He was with the people and is still with the people. You guys are not with the country. You even have Shashi Tharoor is your best friend. What he was being called? He's the best spokesperson for the BJP. You started abusing Shashi Tharoor, whom you have left. I don't know what will happen to Salman Khurshid, because he also said that Article 370 removal was a good step that led to normalcy in Kashmir. He gave this statement today. Now I'm sure the whole Congress party is going to come after him.
Okay.
Anybody who stands with the nation, anybody who doesn't take a nationalistic stand, why Congress party has a problem with that?
Okay, let Clyde Crasto jump in. He's been raising his hand very quickly. Clyde Crasto, keep your answer short.
No, for Clyde Crasto also. For Clyde Crasto also.
Rajiv.
What he has said in the earlier comments. Supriya Sule
Let him respond. Ajay, please. Ajay, let him speak now. Ajay, let him speak.
Alok, the question is for me. This is not right. Rajdeep, I think you are not doing the right thing. You promised that everybody will get equal time and you're not giving us equal time.
No,
okay,
1
so
minute.
Don't do that,
Clyde Crasto,
okay?
Clyde Crasto, just a minute. Do you agree with what Salman... No, 1 minute. Your leadership has been much more careful in not asking questions. You don't even want a special session of parliament. The Congress wants a special session. Sharad Pawar has not said a word. So please answer the question. Why is your party very silent? Your party seems to be standing firmly with the Modi government.
No, nobody is silent. Rajdeep, you are speaking in dual voice right now. It's not that we are not asking question or not speaking. We are definitely speaking. You took an interview with our MP, Mrs. Supriya Sule. Okay, we've been speaking. What have we said? That right now, while we are outside the country and we are talking about India as Indians, we do not want to raise certain questions. But when the right time comes, we will raise all the questions that the Congress is raising. We will do it. Right now, we are representing India and we want to tell the world how Pakistan is dealing with us, how they are a terrorist state. But let me tell you and let me assure you that all this politicization of Operation Sindoor by the Bharatiya Janata Party, we are not going to keep quiet. When the right time comes, when we come back to India, when the parliament session comes, we will raise all the questions, we will ask for all the right answers. And let me tell you, let me tell you one thing, that in a parliamentary democracy, 1 minute, let me finish. Now you've not given me enough time. The role of the opposition is not to just toe the line of the party incumbent or the government incumbent. You have to show the mirror to the people who are in government. What right or wrong they are doing. If the BJP is getting hurt by the right question, that means they are doing the wrong. Why are they getting hurt? If they were not getting, doing anything wrong, then why are they getting hurt? All the right questions are being asked. For us, we are not quiet.
Okay. Do you believe it's a... Just a minute. Clyde Crasto, 1 minute. This is not a monologue. Clyde Crasto, not a monologue. I'm asking you a straight question. Do you believe it's the right question to ask how many jets were downed by the Pakistanis? Do you believe it is the right question to ask how many jets were down? Do you believe it's the right question?
That you ask Revanth Reddy why he said it. How will I answer that? Ask him the question. Ask
I
him
think your answer comes
right
there.
I've got your... get into answering that kind of question. Well, no, 1 minute, wait. Don't put words in my mouth.
No, sir.
When the right
time let's
comes,
move on. Bring the voice down.
Will be asked.
Okay, let's move down. Let's move on to the next question. Linked to what was just said, is there unity abroad but polarization at home? Are we seeing unity with all the delegations going abroad together, but is there polarization at home? Before I come to you, Rajat Sethi and Sandeep Shastri, let's play what Vijay Shah said, because that, in a sense, reflects the kind of some of the unfortunate rhetoric that we've seen play out at home. This is a Madhya Pradesh minister of the BJP. Listen into what he said.
जिन्होंने हमारी बेटियों के सिंदूर उजाड़े थे, वही कटे पिटे लोगों को हमने उन्हीं की बहन भेज करके उनकी ऐसी की तैसी करवाई। उन्होंने कपड़े उतार के हमारे हिंदुओं को मारा और मोदी जी ने उनकी बहन को उनकी ऐसी की तैसी करने हमारे जहाज से उनके घर आए।
Rajat, you've heard what Vijay Shah says. Of course, politicians at times tend to speak without thinking. And this might be one example of it. But there will be those who will say this is precisely the problem. We want unity abroad, but at home we polarize our own domestic constituencies and play to them. Is this part of the problem?
Well, isolated cases, if you want to draw out those isolated cases and broad brush how internal democracy is or how internal discourse is, that would be too much of a stretch, Rajdeep ji. For the past around 15 days, we've been admonishing the remark of this minister in no uncertain terms. I at least have been pretty clear as to what he said. That is, even if it came out as a slip of tongue, he should still be not just be restrained, he should be sacked. That's my position. And I don't have any doubts about it. But the discourse, this is still one of the leaders of the BJP at a state level. But here on the other side, you have a Rahul Gandhi who has the guts to go out and meet Ilhan Omar in the United States. And no question should be asked from him. He is the leader of the opposition. He occupies a constitutional position and he still goes out and meets. Can he make it public as to what kind of discussions he had with Ilhan Omar, who openly vouches for POK not being part of India and being firmly, who believes that entire Kashmir belongs to Pakistan? Now, let me again tell you, to what previously Salman Soos was saying, what is the right time to question? Absolutely. Let there be a parliament session and you should raise the right question. But in communications, there is something that is said very clearly, that it is not what you say that matters. It is what gets heard. That is what is more important. In the case of the Congress party, what is being heard across the border. It is being played out. All of these speeches of these Congress leaders are being played out by the Pakistani television. What does it say? It clearly says that somewhere down, when you're asking about planes being lost by India, there is a very pathetic, kind of a sinister smile that you want to, bring to yourselves that see Modi failed or perhaps India or India's operations failed. This is why you're repeatedly having this question. Tell me, in Second World War, did America not lose their submarines and ships and warplanes? Does that determine who wins a war, who loses a war? How shameless and how pitiful can our constitutional position holders like the Chief Minister of Telangana be when they're trying to belittle India's cause by calling out how many planes have been lost? Those are operational matters, for God's sake. Don't you have the basic decency and you still occupy a constitutional position? My real problem is that deep down...
Also today, we've also heard today Dr. Subramaniam Swamy say the same thing. You see, the question is... No, but should the government not be transparent about it, Rajat?
Sadistic pleasure is the word
you're saying they get sadistic pleasure. Maybe the government could have been more honest about it.
To elicit from this whole thing.
Okay. Maybe the government could have been more honest. Maybe the Congress is trying to derive sadistic pleasure. Interestingly, Subramaniam Swamy today is also echoing this. But Sandeep Shastri, is part of the problem the fact that we are so polarized domestically? Our politics has become so shrill. Prime Minister goes to Bengal and says, almost seems to liken Operation Sindoor to a potential Operation Bengal where elections will take place next year. Mamata Banerjee then hits back and talks about Sindoor and the Prime Minister's personal life. Is politics so polarized in this country?
Rajdeep, 2 points on that. When an all-party delegation goes abroad and there is unity abroad, I think that is something that needs to be lauded. Back home, there is no shadow of doubt that there is intense polarization of ideas. And this is again not something new. What is new for me is the shrillness of the debate, the personalization of the debate, the language used in the debate, and the low level of accusations that are made in the debate across the political spectrum. That, I think, for me, as a citizen of the country, as an observer of politics in this country, is disheartening. Let us have our polarization. Let us take our stands. Let us take diametrically opposite positions. Perfectly fine. But can there be some sagacity, some wisdom, in our debate, can our language be much better and not make it personal accusations? Can we raise that standard to an extent? That's the question which is worrying me today. And it is not the polarization, but the way that that polarization is being taken forward in the language we use and in the idioms that we put forward in the debate across the political spectrum.
One of the problems, though, and this comes to my next question, is social media becoming the arena for Operation Sindoor politics? We see lots of tweets across the board. We see memes. I want to show a couple of those memes at the moment, and I want to get reaction. There was a BJP meme that showed Rahul Gandhi and General Munir being merged. The Congress then hit back. They showed a meme of Narendra Modi and Shahbaz Sharif being merged. Please look at them in a moment, and I want to ask you all, is this what we want to see, the kind of memes we are seeing, the kind of images that are being played out? Has social media become the arena? Rajat Sethi, why don't you kick off this one, since you also know social media well? We are seeing on social media, Rajat, this polarization play out. On the day Operation Sindoor was launched, BJP put out an ad targeting former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and his handling of 2611. Congress then hits back. Is this what we want to see? Is social media part of the problem?
No, I think media and social media both sort of joined hands in terms of belittling the overall operation. And I believe BJP being in power, they should have shown some restraint. Clearly, I think the lowest level that was hit when the accusation was made none other than by Mr. Rahul Gandhi himself, when he accused the External Affairs Minister Jaishankar of being or acting in connivance with Pakistan, equating him with treason. That was where I think all levels, all thresholds of politics and some decency in politics was destroyed and bulldozed. So started with Congress, and then I think the BJP reacted to it, which shouldn't have, because you are currently leading the country and you need to show certain strategic composure when it comes to setting the narrative. And clearly, if Congress is going on to a track of accusing External Affairs Minister, no sane Indian is going to believe, even if a leader of opposition claims anything. And they went on and on. Look at what Mr. Khera actually went out.
Let Salman Soz respond to that.
So it just slipped, and
let Salman Soz respond.
So,
Salman Soz, when your leader virtually suggests that the foreign minister of the country is a Jaichand, then what do you expect? I mean, the quality of this is the leader of the opposition. If he starts calling the foreign minister Jaichand, what's the message going out?
Rajdeep, I'm sorry, but what Rajat seems to really be somehow he can't get Rahul Gandhi out of his mind. But you know it, Rajdeep.
He's my leader of opposition.
Do you approve of the leader of the opposition calling the foreign minister Jaichand?
I'm trying to make a point. And the point is that for the last 15, 20 years, Rajdeep, you know it, everybody knows it, that the BJP ecosystem has been painting Rahul Gandhi as the biggest traitor on the face of this planet. Our Prime Minister has used incredibly unfortunate language that everybody's aware of. Again, my old friend, the late Sunanda Pushkar, and he called her a 50 crore girlfriend. So please don't give me all these kind of homilies of this is so unfortunate and the leader of the opposition is saying this and that. There's a legitimate question to be asked of Mr. Jaishankar, if not for the comments that he made about Operation Sindoor, but certainly about the diplomacy that we should have been engaged in, so that we would at least have a lot more support at the. In fact, you should be asking these questions. Why aren't you asking a question about how China supported Pakistan during this crisis, and we are running $100 billion trade deficit with China? That is not a question. You never ask these questions. I find it incredible. On the one hand, you said that there should be national, BJP's nationalism and some amazing thing, and that is what they're tom-tomming. I can tell you that on behalf of the Congress Party, that we take national security as a solemn responsibility. For us, this is not a sloganeering. You talked about Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Sir.
Let me tell you about Dr. Manmohan. Just a second. let me tell you about Dr. Manmohan Singh. And you said that you implied that we love Pakistan. Let me tell you that Pakistan, 1971, we are all aware what happened to Pakistan under Congress rule. But after 2008, what happened to Pakistan? Pakistan's economy, their per capita income was more than ours. And look what happened to the Pakistani economy after 2008. Who went on the Financial Action Task Force grey list? How did that happen? It happened under Dr. Manmohan Singh because he pushed. There were Security Council resolutions against Pakistan. Where is your Security Council resolution right now?
Okay, your time.
Why don't you talk
you
about
made your point, Salman Soos. Okay, I raise all questions of all parties, so I get into trouble. But
No, I'm
I take
asking
your
Rajat
point,
and the BJP
Ajay Alok.
spokesperson.
No, just a minute, sir. No, sir, just a minute. Ajay Alok, why don't you also respond? This low-level discourse. You heard what Vijay Shah said. You've heard people have called your leaders have called Mallikarjun Kharge has been called a Gaddar for comments he's made. Just as they call someone Jaychand, you call Gaddar. Rahul Gandhi, they say, is acting as a Pakistani agent. The quality of discourse. Shouldn't the Prime Minister say enough is enough and pull up a Vijay Shah? It's not for Rajat Sethi to ask for sacking of Vijay Shah. The Prime Minister could have sacked him. That would have sent out a strong message.
See, the lowest discourse started just after 22nd, if you remember. I'll make you recall Robert Vadra, what he said on 23rd, when he said that because of coercion of minorities and because of all the ill doings on the minorities of this country, this attack has happened. This was Robert Vadra, none other than anyone else. And whose voice was this? Was this the voice of Priyanka Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi? That minorities are not being treated well, so as a part of repercussion they did Pahalgam? One after the other, they kept on doing it, one after the other. My friend Salman is constantly saying, what about the international support? Now let me remind him, for the first time in OIC, the resolution on Kashmir has been dropped for the first time. Earlier what used to happen, even Iran, who was supposed to be our friend, they also used to vote against us, not this time. The whole world is supporting us, the whole world, except for 3 countries which we all know. Wherever the international delegation is going on, we are getting full support. Even in Qatar, even in Iran, where Supriya Sule has gone. So Islamic nations are also supporting, the Christian nations are also supporting, we are getting a good enough support. We don't want military support from anyone.
Ajay Alok, do you approve, just as I asked him, does he approve of the language of Jaychand? Do you approve the language of Gaddar? Do you approve the language of calling someone a Gaddar?
I will say somebody a Gaddar who happens to be a leader of opposition and his voice is being heard in Pakistan Assembly. I will say that leader a Gaddar. If in the time of crisis he speaks against the country and his voice is taken to UN. And his lines are being repeated in UN and in Pakistan Assembly. Then I will call him Gaddar. I will call him Gaddar when Galwan was happening and he was having dinner with Chinese embassies. I will call him Gaddar. I will call Congress Party Gaddar because till today we don't know what is the resolution of the Congress Party with Chinese Liberation Army. What they signed, what was the pact. I will call Gaddar when Rajiv Gandhi Foundation will take 50 lakhs rupees donation from Chinese embassy. I will call them Gaddar.
Okay.
Rajdeep, can I say
the fact is, we are seeing the discourse. Yeah, 10 seconds. Salman Soos, quickly respond because he has called your party a Gaddar for what he's.
I would say yes. You know. I think the audience can see the level to which BJP spokespersons have to fall that they would call the leader of the opposition.
I'm showing you the mirror.
Hundreds of millions. Please don't interrupt me. I did not interrupt you.
And what I've said is fact.
The level of please don't interrupt. Why are you interrupting me? Do you not want to hear me?
Okay,
do you not want the audience to hear me?
Very quickly, Salman, 10 seconds.
The level of the BJP spokesperson who would call the leader of hundreds of millions of Indians who voted for our party, he would call them a traitor. I think the real traitors, in my view, are those who do not acknowledge that China has intruded into our territory and then basically give up territory without saying a word. I think that is treasonous behavior, to my mind. I'm not saying that the Prime Minister is a traitor.
I've heard both sides.
But I think the BJP
Salman,
should be very careful.
Sir, you made your 10 seconds is up. I'm asking the final question. Okay, my final question. Should a special session of Parliament be called? I want quick responses, 30 seconds each, starting with you, Clyde Crasto. Do you want a special session of Parliament called? When this question was asked to your leader, Sharad Pawar, he didn't seem to indicate that he preferred such a session. He didn't want it. But other parties, Congress, TMC, seem to want it. What's your view? Should a special session of Parliament be called so that we don't have to have TV debates? You can debate all this in Parliament.
We have to debate it in Parliament, no doubt about that. But at the moment, my leader, Mr. Sharad Pawar, has said at the moment, while our delegations are outside the country and putting our point across and showing the world terrorist state like Pakistan, we don't need to get into a session. But once all this is done, we should have a session. The question should be raised and a lot of answers should be given by the incumbent government, because they cannot go away from a lot of questions that is staring in their faces, that's being asked by a lot of people. And we will ask that question, Rajdeep. Be assured, we will ask all the right questions. The opposition stands together to ask the right questions.
Okay, your 30 seconds is up. I will ask, therefore, who benefits from all of this politically? Sandeep Shastri, wear your cephalogist hat. Who benefits from what we've seen happen from April 22nd, Pahalgam, to now the end of May? Who has benefited politically?
Rajdeep, recall 2019 as to who benefited between March and July of that year when certain events happened. Now, who benefits depends on who is able to take the message across strongly. And given current trends, it very clearly seems that the ruling party at the center has the advantage in that sense. But also going back, Rajdeep, to your other question, should we have a session of Parliament? Yes, if you are going to allow it to run. If you, I mean here all parties. If we are going to have a session of Parliament where every day is adjourned, I don't think it serves any purpose at all.
Okay. Rajat Sethi, who do you think has benefited politically? Has Mr. Modi's image become larger than life as a result of what has happened? Or do you believe that the public out there is also sometimes seeing through some of these yatras, Tiranga yatras that take place and do not want the exploitation of armed forces?
I think Prime Minister Modi already, occupies a larger than life image. And I therefore don't believe one state election here and there is going to make any changes to BJP's fortune. Largely the shock and awe factor that is associated with these surgical strikes and Operation Sindoor is settled. Now the public expects their political leadership across the aisle to actually respond in a similar manner. So I don't think BJP or Prime Minister Modi would be weighing in when it comes to a political benefit, so to say, of Operation Sindoor. And let me tell you, Bihar, of all states, is one state which clearly delineates between, what we expect from our leadership and what are the genuine issues of the state of Bihar. That is what I feel. And therefore, I don't think BJP is trying to, take any political credit out of this at all. The mission behind what I sense as an analyst of Prime Minister's tour around the country is to weave a narrative that so that no future leader who occupies the chair of the Prime Minister responds with anything lower than what Operation Sindoor has conducted and set as the lower benchmark of our response.
Okay, let me leave it there. I think we've heard all sides. We've had a fiery debate at times, which perhaps again reflects some of the polarities in Indian politics. But as we've seen, national interest has also shown a rare unity in the last several weeks. I only hope that some of the language and the rhetoric is measured in future. That's one of the lessons that we learn, because it's that kind of rhetoric that ends up polarizing the atmosphere and then benefiting those who seek to divide and rule any society. I appreciate my guests joining us on this very special debate of politics around Operation Sindoor. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind. Namaskar.